Hello, Golf Plus community. Topher James, how's it going? So the new course that recently came out and is the weekly starting on Thursday. Thursday is Muirfield Village. Great course, probably top three course for me. So much fun. If you haven't had a chance to play it, please do. If you haven't had a chance to play it from the front tees, that is very enjoyable. Gonna do a walkthrough today, not a playthrough. I've been having issues with my PC and my Rift, so I've been playing a lot of rounds on my standalone headset, but I refuse to record on my headset because it looks like ass. So anyway, we're gonna do a walkthrough. Hole 1, par 4. The course is a par 72, two par 5s on each 9, so that's enjoyable. First par 4 is the whole course, you have to be accurate and you have to be strategic. So if you get to the fairway and you got, a 300-yard drive, it's going to put you into this little bottleneck area. Sand on the right is playable because you're going downhill. But then once you get to, too far. Once you get to the green, I, still haven't memorized the pin locations, but I think it's like, let me do this. Easy, I think medium's up here and hard's down here. But it's definitely slope from back to front. You have a bailout area to the right. You have sand on the left. That's downhill. So just play smart. If you get a fairway shot, go after the green. If you're not confident, just push it off to the right. And but look how pretty these contour lines are. Look, play this course with these contour lines and then go play cliffs. Anyway, so first hole's a par 4. We go over to hole 2, and it's another par 4. This actually puts water into play. As you can see, fairway is downhill. Not too bad. A 300-yard drive can put you about 150 away. So watch out for the water on the right. Now the green itself, pretty challenging. So again, a lot of slope to the green. Easy pin, medium pin. I honestly don't remember. But you have this false front. Anything that will fall short or to the left can roll off. You have deep bunkers on all the sides. Plus, you have water way in the back and the right. So just be careful. Not much to this par 4 other than just play smart. It's going to be a running theme. Hole 3 is another par 4. This one is where it gets interesting. So water's still in play, but it's a much shorter hole. So it's 360 to the green. It's 302 apparently. This driver goes to 302. Interesting. You can drive through the fairway, especially because it's a little bit downhill. Now, if you really wanted to, so I would either hit a high cut driver or a 3-wood. But you notice how this green is very narrow and it slopes towards the water pretty heavily. So like you have your easy pin. I think there's a pin up front and then the back. And even if you bail out, that's just going to be a nasty shot. And notice with this course, you're going to have a lot of, I think this is the first cut into the water. So you're not going to be saved by the rough. If you catch it, the slope, the hill, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's going to go in the water. Now, you do have an opportunity to drive off to the left. Now, if you do that, you're more likely going to have a rough shot. It's going to be about 90 yards, but you have the full green to work with. So that could be some strategy as well. Either way, like I said, it's a very strategic course. So much fun, though. Hole 4 is your first par 3, and look how deep this green is. I mean, it's 185-ish to the front and 230-ish to the back. And kind of getting some Yale vibes over here because if you go off left, you're going to fall down the hill, end up in a bunker. If you bail out to the right, you're in the bunker. So it's heavily guarded. Green is sloped from right to left, and so you're going to have a mid to long iron. And it's really just going to, hope you get on the green, hope you get a good shot. If there's wind, if there's high wind, just go for the green and try to two-putt. Or at least miss close and give yourself a good chance for an up and down. Things continue to get weird here at hole 5 in the first par 5. And the reason why this is weird is it's almost a blind tee shot. And the reason why it's almost blind is you can see the fairway, but this fairway that you can see is only 265 yards. Now, to get to the water, and remember, you're going downhill, that's a 300-yard drive. So you got some options. You can lay up on the fairway. You'll definitely want to aim on the left side. If you lay up about 270, you'll about have 270 in. You can hit, it really depends because I'll try to hit a high cut driver and put myself in this area. Sometimes I will hit a 3 wood, so I can go 3 wood. Because if you do hit a driver, you're gonna kind of be in that like 220, 230 range. So be very particular about your tee shot. But then after that, you have some options. You can lay up on the left, you can lay up on the right. If you go for the green in two, again, you see the slope? It's all first cut. So it's not gonna, you know, I can't remember. I was gonna say the ball's not gonna just catch and roll down, but it is something you want to be concerned of. Um, this green is sloped from bag to the water pretty hard. Anytime I go at this green in two, I'm always aiming for the far side rough or bunkers. So try to plan out your shots carefully and just don't dive right into it, and you should at least get birdie. Hole 6, another par 4. Water's still in play, so it's not, it's pretty traditional par 4, 450 yards. And this is all back easy low pro. Sand is in play, so it's only 280, 290 to clear the left sand, and then you can also get in the right sand. So you don't have too much of a landing area. Anything on the left, is much better than anything to the right because there's less trees. The more challenging thing is when you get to the green. So if you hit a 300-yard drive, you're going to give yourself about a short to mid iron. Again, you have a fall off to the water. You have a bunker that is a good bailout area, but this easy pin's not too easy. So there's like a pin here, pin here, pin here. Again, look how pretty these lines are. So nice. Anything long could be a dangerous chip. So just try to play cautious, play for the green. Don't do a hero shot. Hole 7, the par 5 is 560. This one's actually interesting for me because I tried to lay off on my driver a little bit for about a 280, 290 so I can do a full driver into the green. If you go 300 yards, you're going to be in between a 3-wood and a driver. At least I would be. So you're either going to be super short or super long. So take that for consideration. You don't have much landing area. Anything off to the left, you can fall into the sand. Anything off to the right, if you go through the fairway, you can get rough sand or even the first cut. But let's just say you do hit in a driver or you hit your driver into the fairway. Again, you have some options. So there's a pin here. I know there's a pin here. I want to say there's a pin here. There's a collection area way in the back. So if you do hit a driver and you go long, you're going to have a 20 to 30 yard pitch. If you hit something and it goes short, you're going to have a dangerous uphill, sand shot. So again, be strategic. There's a lot of things that can go great and a lot of bad things that can happen. Hole 8 is another narrow green par 3. So it's 20 feet downhill. It's 196 to what the easy pin is, but it's 180 to the front, 215 to the back. But you notice how this green is kind of elevated, so anything that can fall off, you're hitting, a mid to long iron, depending on the situation. So it's really easy to just kind of run it off into the rough. On the left side would definitely be a better bailout area because one, the green is going to the left, and then two, you're at a similar height. Just be careful. Also, too, if you haven't seen it yet on this course, welcome Golf Plus players, sponsored by Workday. Thank you. Let's say through 15. I'm on hole 8. Anyway, you close out the front 9 with another par 4. This one is interesting. Sort of a blind tee shot. You have your little valley of trees to go through. Is that always? That was weird. With a 300-yard drive, so you can put yourself anywhere from 90 to 110. But the further you get down into the fairway, the more narrow it is. But hitting from the first cut of the rough isn't that bad. The green itself is pretty dangerous. It is definitely sloped from back to front, and then you have the first cut into the water. Uh, I can't remember. I mean, pin here, I don't know, somewhere. So just kind of be careful with that shot. I always struggle with this hole because if I'm 100 yards out, I have a lot of spin, and so it a lot of time just rolls off the green. Thankfully, it catches here, and then there's like this really weird flat spot right here that I could be saved by, but just don't chance it. Hole 10, starting on the back nine, is another par 4, about 450 yards. Not much to it. It's kind of a narrow landing area. It's easier to go right to miss the sand. The sand is pretty deep, so you could have challenges getting back. But if you hit a 300-yard drive, put you about 150, 160 going uphill. The green itself isn't, too crazy. It's something kind of like similar to Quail Hollow. Definitely sloped. Almost, yeah, I'd say it's 2-tiered. There's probably a pin back there. So I would always try to hit, something deep. Try to stay away from this sand, just how deep that is. So be careful. Like I said, it's a running thing. Hole 11, another par 5, water back in play. Now, if you go too far left on this tee shot, you can go in the water. If you go too far right, that sand is in play. It's downhill, 300 yards. So try your best to put in this little area. And this goes back to how I have to decide whether or not I want to lay off a driver or if I want to be aggressive. Because if I want to go for the green in 2, anything long is great. So you can have a pitch down. If you end up short, this is pretty slow, but it can fall into the water. You could, hit in the sand. I have gotten lucky where I've hooked a 3-wood off this and it just kind of rolls on. I think it was like 265, 270. But yeah, be strategic. If you can't play for the green or if you're concerned about it, then just put yourself in a good position. Try to stay safe. Again, the green is sloped. I can't remember where the pins are. I apologize, but this almost looks like an Xbox controller or a gamepad or something. Anyway, what hole am I on? Hole 12. Now this hole is, I've heard people compare it to hole 12 at Augusta. I think this is about 20 to 30 yards longer. So it's 160, yards to the front, 190 to the back. You have water to go over. You have the first cut. You have sand. Yeah, if you hit this, honestly, I've hit this so many times, the ball's going to go in the water. It's just going to happen. Definitely sloped. It's very, very narrow green, skinny, whatever you want to call it. So just do your best. Anything long to the left, even the sand, I would take that because the green runs away from you, so it makes it a little bit easier. Hole 13 is traditional par 4, so you got a little bit of a dog leg. You just aim right at the sand. Sometimes you can definitely clear the sand. And so you do have a little bit of a narrow area. Probably want to miss more left than right because if you miss right, you'll have to battle the trees, at least on the left. You can still get it towards the green. The green is definitely sloped from right to left, as you can see. There is a pin that's right here. I want to say this is the medium pin, and then the hard pin is back here. You have sand guarding both sides. So it's a very dangerous hole. If anything, I would miss it more towards the right, unless the pin's back here. Then I would just try hitting the green. But be careful. Your second shot is probably going to be 140, 100 to 60. So you'll definitely be able to stop it. Hole 14. 354 yard par 4, and you have options. So you can lay up with a 3-wood or a hybrid, and that'll give you 90 to 110 yards, or you can go for the other fairway, so a 300-yard shot, so that will put you about 40 to 50 yards away. But definitely be careful because this green is very sloped from left to right towards the water. If you go too far left, you have the sand. And if you're like me, hitting a 90 to 100 yard shot, you'll hit it, you'll want to aim left, and it will still backspin a lot, or you'll just end up in the sand. So definitely a tough hole. Hole 15, the last par 5. It's kind of similar to the par 5, the second par 5 on the front 9. As you notice, if you hit a 300-yard drive, that will put you about 250 to 255. So I would almost went that way. So I would be aggressive off the tee. If you do kind of hit towards the sand, but again, on the left side, the ball will drift left. And then the green. So you do, water's not really too much in play unless you hit an errant shot, and bunkers kind of protect you. You have all the space on the left and on the back to kind of protect you as a bailout area. Very slope green, very challenging up and down. I will say that because if you hit the green, it kind of rolls up there, depending on where the hole is. So pretty challenging par 5. Hole 16 is last par 3, so it's 20 to 25 foot downhill, and it's 200 to the front and 230-ish to the back. Jack Nicklaus really wanted to protect these par 3s. So you got water, you got your first cut, you got bunkers all around. This I just try to get on the green and just try to get in for par. So not much more you can say about that one. Hole 17. A little bit of a long par 4. You have a pretty decent landing area, to be honest, with a 300-yard drive. So anything over this bunker, so you have this whole area to land on. Really try to get it in the fairway though, because even if you hit a 300-yard drive, you're going downhill, but you're still at a long iron. And plus the green is just on the other side of the water. There isn't really much area to bail out on. Deep bunkers. You have a lot of rough, and it's almost a 2-tier. You have the slope in the in the middle, but it slopes pretty heavy from back right to front left. So be careful with that one. Hole 18. So the final hole is just another par 4. It's 500 yards again. The last 2 holes are actually pretty long. If you play from the front tees, these 2 are, they're difficult for me to get to in one shot. So this one's definitely a blind tee shot. So you have sand on your right, and then you can almost go into the rough on your left. So basically, you're wanting. Let me try to point it out. So sand is right here, kind of where this little V is. Let me just do this. So so over this tree is the sand, and if you go too far left, there's water. So I would probably, I would aim at that V, or at least somewhere in there, depending on the wind. And then, so you put it 300 yards, so you're going to be about right here, and you're still going to have a pretty long uphill shot, and this green sucks. So the green is plateaued, guarded by bunkers, almost 2-tiered, very sloped. If you don't get it on this upper tier for like this hole, then it's just pain in the ass. If you can hit it long, you have to have a quick downhill chip or pitch. So that's pretty much it. Moral of the story is be careful, but enjoy it. It's a really fun course. Like I said, it's top 3. Play it from the front tees. Very enjoyable. Sorry I can't play through it, and my club's changed. I'm battling with my PC, so hopefully that will change in the future. But other than that, good luck on Thursday. Enjoy the game, have fun, and I'll see y'all later.